we have requested you to join us here for a press conference, which is a kind of a curtain raiser on the Mumbai International Film Festival, the 13th edition of which is to take place in Mumbai from 3rd to 9th February in 2014. Before I talk about MIFF, I would like to give you a little bit of background about the organization, Films Division. I'm sure most of you are aware of the organization. It's one of the oldest media units set up by the Government of India immediately after independence in 1948. Photo Division and Films Division were set up, and the basic idea newly independent country wanted to create a bridge between the government and the people of the country, and to allow information to flow to the citizens of the country regarding the development initiatives, the problems that the new country is facing, and what the government is doing about it. So Photo Division was supplying information to the print media, and Films Division was creating newsreels which were shown in cinema theaters all around the country, and was also shown in the tented cinemas which came up in the rural areas, in all the melas and the hats. And that was the only means of information, because there was no television. There was All India Radio was there, but with very limited reach. Most of the villages were not electrified, and there was no communication with the villagers at that stage. And this organization in the last 65 years or so has served the country in many ways. We have an archive of more than 9,000 titles which record the audiovisual history of the country on the go. So almost all important events that have taken place, all important personalities who have served the country during this time, we have recorded their activities, their opinions, we have recorded the events that have taken place, and it's all a part of the archives which is available for posterity. We are also the world's largest state production house, state-owned production house. We have a total staff strength of about 800 people, most of which are technical people, directors, editors, cinematographers, sound recordists, film laboratory technicians. And we make on an average about 125 documentary or newsreels every year. And there are over 9,000 titles in the Films Division archives. There are three main activities that this organization takes up. One is recording the audiovisual history of the country. Second is to produce documentaries, which are information films for various programs of the government, as well as information films and motivational films on major social issues. And third is promotion of cinema, promotion of the genre of documentaries, short films and animations in cinema. And this organization has done pioneering work in all these genres in the 1950s and 60s. Films Division was the organizer of the first International Film Festival of India in 1952, which was responsible for the new wave cinema of India to come in. And that provided exposure to world cinema for all the directors who were working even in the feature films in that time in the country. And it was the success of the first IFFI that led to Satyajit Ray, Ritvik Ghatak, Mridul Sen, Bimal Roy coming out with major films, milestone films, which changed the character of Indian cinema in the 1950s and 60s. Apart from that, Films Division also pioneered animation film making in the country with stalwarts like Pramod Patay and Ram Mohan and Bhavnagri, whose work is still appreciated till this day. And we also promoted short films. Initially, feature films were also promoted by Films Division only, but then in the 1960s, feature films, to give a major impetus, the Film Finance Corporation of India was set up, which was later rechristened as NFDC. And the Film Television Institute of India in Pune was also set up in 1960. And that is how the impetus was sought to be given to filmmaking in the country. But Films Division has continued to serve in the genres of documentary, short and animation films till date. Even now, we take up major promotional activities for these genres. We have a scheme under which we fund new filmmakers and outside filmmakers. We fund good projects of films from outside. We make films in-house as well. And one of the promotional activities that we have taken up is the organization of an international film festival on documentaries, short films and animation. This was started as Bombay International Film Festival in 1990. It is a biennial, so it is held once in 2 years, and Mumbai is the permanent venue of this festival. This is the leading documentary festival in Asia, and it's one of the top 10 festivals, such festivals in the world. In February 2014, the 13th edition of this festival will be taken up. From 3rd February to 9th February, the major venue will be NCPA at Nariman Point. NCPA is the National Center for Performing Arts at Nariman Point in Mumbai. This time we have received around 600 entries for the national competition, and we have received 205 entries for the international competition. Some major changes have been introduced for this edition of the Mumbai International Film Festival. The importance of this festival, I would like to reassert. Some more colleagues have joined here. In 1990, the first Bombay International Film Festival was organized, and every 2 years this festival has been organized. And the large community of documentary filmmakers in the country today has been by and large inspired by this festival to take up documentary filmmaking as a career. In fact, this festival has influenced the shape and growth of the documentary filmmaking in this country, and it is the most important documentary film festival in the country. Now there are a few more documentary film festivals that happen, but MIFF is still the largest such festival and the most prestigious as well. This year we have received about 600 entries in the national competition, 205 entries in the international competition section. We have introduced some major changes as well. The selection process has been modified. For the national competition, a two-tier process was included, in which selection committees were constituted in 5 regions of the country, and a short listing was taken up by these committees, which was then the conveners of these committees then came together and took up the final selection in Mumbai. The international selection committee was based in Mumbai, and the selections are now over. We have selected approximately 58 hours of competition films, 29 hours from the international competition and 28 hours from the national competition. Mr. Pankaj Butalia is a filmmaker who was member of the selection committee for the North region, for the Delhi region. And if there are any questions regarding selection or the quality of content that has come in, or any other questions regarding the modus operandi they had, he would be happy to take up the questions after we open the house to questions. We have also made important changes in the award structure this year. The total award money remains the same. We give major awards, total awards are about 60 lakh rupees, which are given away to filmmakers. But we have reoriented that structure internally. We have introduced technical awards for the best cinematographer, the best editor, and the best sound recordist for the documentary and short film sections, and the best animator and the best sound design for the animation films. In addition, we have also introduced an award for the most innovative film of the competition, named after Pramod Pati, who was the pioneer in animation and experimental filmmaking in the country. We have also introduced a new award for the most popular film of the festival, which will be based on voting by the audiences within the festival. Apart from this, the Best Debut Director Award is given to the most promising debutant director by Chitranagari which is the Maharashtra Film Development Corporation. And the total number of awards this year has thus gone to 32. There will be 32 awards given. The best film award in each genre is now shared by the director and the producer, so that more and more producers would take up production of documentary and short films in the country. So these are the important changes we have introduced in the awards for Mumbai International Film Festival. In addition, we have also taken up some very innovative events which are now a part of the Mumbai International Film Festival. Sundance and Brit Talks, Sundance Film Institute and Brit Talks organize an international pitching forum called Good Pitch in US and UK. Indian edition of Good Pitch called Good Pitch Squared India will be held on the first day of Mumbai International Film Festival within the MIFF. In this project, six projects have been selected which will be pitched to a panel of 10 each. The panel will be constituted by commissioning editors, producers, distributors and funders invited from all over the world. So nearly 60 such personalities will be available there for interacting with the filmmakers, with the proposers, and 6 films will be projected to them so that the filmmakers and participants, delegates to MIFF, can really witness the process of how a film is pitched and what are the criteria on the basis of which funders accept a film for funding, or the distributors take up distribution, or the festival strategists take up films for participating in different festivals. So this will be a great value addition to this edition of Mumbai International Film Festival. Apart from this, with the idea of audience development for the future, we have targeted school children as early audiences for documentary and short films, and for that purpose there is a event that has been organized with Cine Kids. Cine Kids is the largest children film festival in the world that takes place in Holland. So Cine Kids has joined hands with an NGO called Lenop Media in Holland, and they together are joining with MIFF to bring a Dutch Children Film Festival to the city of Mumbai, wherein they have adopted 8 schools, through which 68 schools will be participating in this festival. The festival will also have a filmmaking workshop for these children, and they will make a 5-minute documentary film which will be screened at the opening ceremony of Mumbai International Film Festival. And this program will reach out to 10,000 children, and MIFF will thus reach out to 10,000 families of children for this edition of MIFF, and hopefully we will be introducing school children early to documentary films to ensure that in future audiences are available for documentaries. They develop the taste for watching documentaries and short films, and we are able to restore a balance in cinema watching habits of the population. In addition, ActionAids, which is an international NGO, is also bringing a film festival called Shahadanama with the theme of Our Cities, Ourselves, which will take place in North Mumbai, and which will involve the communities, the resident welfare communities, the higher education students, the technical students, in the process of organizing film festivals and to initiate a dialogue about the life in Indian cities, and through films which have been made about cities and the particular problems of city dwellers. We are also organizing a number of master classes and workshops in the festival. Eminent jury would be participating in the festival as jury members. We are also organizing a producers laboratory which will be a closed session for about 30 filmmakers who will be selected on the basis of application, and they will be given a rigorous 5-day course on producing documentaries to bring in more professionalism and more efficiency into the process of documentary filmmaking in the country. Apart from this, Films Division has, for the last more than 1 year, been organizing an audience development initiative called FD Zone, in which a curated screening of films is held every Saturday or every week in Mumbai, and this kind of activity is going on in 9 different cities in the country as of now. The target under FD Zone is to develop a pan-India film club which is run by cinephiles and filmmakers, and the core activity is a curated screening of films followed by Q&A after each screening, so that the way films are watched, particularly the way documentary and short films are watched in the country, can be gradually improved to international standards in terms of analyzing, evaluating documentary films and developing the audiences for that kind of films. Because one of the main concerns that cinephiles and filmmakers have as of now in the country is that the commercial mainstream cinema and the commercial mainstream television serials have hogged all screening space, screening time in the country. And even if a serious film lover wants to watch some films, he does not have the opportunity to do so because the multiplexes do not show those films. There are no alternative spaces available in the country for that kind of films. So this attempt is to use small spaces which are available in different areas and to add value to those spaces by bringing in a team of filmmakers or film lovers together, who then curate a screening session on a regular periodicity, whether it is weekly or fortnightly or monthly, so that audiences are very aware that on this particular day of the week or the fortnight or the month of a curated screening is going to take place at a fixed venue. And there the films are introduced, a curatorial note is circulated on the social media, Q&A is taken up, usually a director of the film or a technical member of the crew of the film is invited, and they interact with the audiences. And the audiences also interact between themselves, amongst themselves. And a healthy discussion about cinema, its analysis, its narrative, its structure, its form and content is taken up. So this exercise at audience development is essentially aimed at creating a space for meaningful cinema in the country, including feature and fiction as well. And also to open up the archives of Films Division to larger audiences all over the country. So FD Zone is happening right now in Mumbai, Chennai, Thrissur, Coimbatore, Bangalore, Delhi, Kolkata, Chandigarh, and Lucknow and Jaipur are going to be started very soon. In the same vein, a large number of filmmakers and film lovers who are in different metros are unable to come to Mumbai to participate in MIFF. Therefore, this time we are taking up a new experiment. We have started a MIFF Zone activity, which basically is holding parallel screenings of the national competition and other important films which are being screened in Mumbai during MIFF. And parallel screenings on the same dates, 3rd February, 4th February to 9th February, will be held up in the metros and in important towns at the same time. So in Delhi, from 4th of February to 9th of February, in Shri Fort Complex, the national competition films of MIFF and other selected important films will be screened. On 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, the screenings will be from 6 to 9 p.m. in the evening, and 8th and 9th, which is Saturday and Sunday, there will be whole day screenings. So the idea is that all the film lovers, documentary filmmakers who are not able to come to Mumbai to participate in MIFF, we will bring MIFF to you here in Delhi. Similarly, we are organizing identical screenings in Chennai in the RDR Film Institute, in Bangalore in 2 venues, in Kolkata in the Nandan complex, in Guwahati with the help of the Assam Film Development Corporation, and in Nagpur. So 6 other places MIFF parallel screenings are being organized this year, so that a much larger participation can happen for the Mumbai International Film Festival. This is what I wanted to share about the Mumbai International Film Festival and the new edition. In the next edition, 2016, we will start working right away so that much better content and much more structured programs can be brought in, and we will also expand a MIFF zone in the next edition.